Today we will be focusing on uh, death by neurological criteria, which is the new terminology being used for brainstem death assessment. And we will revisit pertinent topics, like revise a few theoretical points as well. And the exam will be focused on European standards, so you can get used to the exam questions. So precondition one, patient should have a severe brain injury, catastrophic brain injury, which can explain, like, which can lead to brainstem death. Not only that, patient should have evidence clinically as well as imaging wise of like intracranial hypertension, severe cerebral edema, and brainstem herniation, or like other parameters like very high ICP, and you are suspecting herniation clinically. So the clinical picture should fit. There should be irreversible brain damage and imaging findings which is correlating with that. So this is the basic precondition before we start thinking about brain death at all. So precondition three or the other reversible causes of like depressed state or a coma, like hypothermia, drugs like benzodiazepines. Some patients will be on midazolam infusion because they were at a cardiac arrest, unstable. So it just prolongs the time when you can do a death testing. So from the time of stopping the infusion, like sedatives, you have to wait at least, like, give it adequate time for the drugs to metabolize. Ideally, at least 5 off-life, but still after 5 off-lives, you cannot be 100% sure like the drug has metabolized. So that's why we avoid like long-acting drugs whenever the patient has had a cardiac arrest. We are suspecting like severe brain injury, hypoxic brain injury. We should put them on ultra-short acting agents like propofol or remifentanil, and we try and avoid drugs like fentanyl and midazolam, even morphine, for that case. Summary of the cranial nerves. So pupillary reflex. So we need two persons to do the test at the same time, and either one of them can do the test while the observes, or one can do on one side and the other person observes. But we need to test both the eyes, and both the eyes should be available for testing. If one eye has like cataract, you cannot do a pupillary reflex test because you need to do both direct and consensual response. So if one eye is not eligible to do a pupillary reflex test, you cannot proceed with brainstem testing just by clinical assessment. You need other investigations. So a patient undergoing brain death testing exhibits triple flexion of the lower limbs to nail bed pressure. What is the most appropriate next step? Declare the patient is not brain dead, repeat the examination in 24 hours, administer neuromuscular blockade and re-examine, recognize this may be a spinal mediated reflex, and seek expert consultation or ancillary testing. So how would you differentiate this from a real response? Sometimes it can mimic very closely to how like withdrawal or flexion response happens to a painful stimuli. One key differentiating factor is it is like often repeatable, precisely like similar movement happening every time, and spinal reflexes should not happen when you are stimulating the cranial nerves. So suppose when you are giving supraorbital pressure and the patient is having a response like that, then the patient is not brain dead. Brain dead organ donor has persistent hemodynamic instability despite fluid and vasopressors. Which component of the hormone replacement therapy has the strongest evidence for reducing vasopressor requirements? Complications of brain death. Basically, the most important complication is hypotension. And the reason for the hypotension and why we give steroids and it works is because of the sympathetic storm and the vasoplegia which follows it. Once the intracranial pressure peaks, and uh, the immediate response is to release all the catecholamines, so there will be a sympathetic storm. Patient will have tachyarrhythmias, hypertension, followed by a phase where all the sympathetic system is exhausted, and you end up with severe vasoplegia, and you will have severe hypotension. And this is just a summary of a checklist basically of how will you manage organ donor once the patient is confirmed brain death and the patient is for organ retrieval. How will you manage the patient? So let's briefly quick run through the checklist. So priorities are we should treat this patient like any other patient who is alive and try to optimize all the organs.